Hello everyone, it's Christy Haig here, and this is a layout I'm working on with a kit called Life Stories School by Zoe and Kristen from Sweet Shop Designs. And I want to share with you today the technique I use for making it look like this paperclip is actually clipping this stack of papers that I have right here behind it together. If you take a paperclip in real life and clip it to a bunch of papers, you'll notice that one of the loops on the paperclip goes behind the stack of papers, and the other bend or loop on the paperclip stays in the front. And so what I'm going to do is erase the section of the paperclip that would be behind so that we have the illusion that it's being tucked behind this pink paper back here. So how that works is I'm going to start by just duplicating the paperclip layer and then hiding. This is the original and the duplicate. I'm just going to hide the duplicate here. The reason I do that is because when we erase and make final changes like that to an element on the layout, I always like to have a backup in case I change my mind about what I did. Then I can always delete the one that I'm working with and return this one back on and start over again. So now I'm going to make sure my layers palette here has the visible layer clicked. And then I'm going to look for the largest of the papers that I want to hide the paperclip behind. So that's this pink paper. So I'm going to scroll down in my layers palette until I find the large pink paper here. And holding down the Control or Command for a Mac key on the keyboard, I'm going to click right on this little icon here. And you'll notice that that puts the selection or the marching ants around the pink paper here on my layout. However, I still have the paper clip layer selected, so I can go to my eraser tool. You want to make sure that the opacity of your eraser is all the way up because we want to erase it completely. And you can play around with the size tool to make it such that you can erase just the one loop of the paperclip. And we're simply going to draw right over it with the eraser. And one tip I have for you is not to try to do it all at once, but to do it piece by piece. And the reason for that is because then if you make a mistake like that and go back to edit, undo, you just undo that last little piece instead of starting over from the beginning. So piece by piece, I'm just going to keep erasing the paperclip, and the reason for putting the marching ants around the pink paper is so that when I get all the way up here to the top, I don't have to be super exact. I can simply go right over the edge here, and it will only erase the part of the paperclip that is over within these marching ants area. So it only erases it right up to the edge, which is perfect. So now I'm going to go ahead and add a shadow to that layer. And I've already customized it to be the way I want. And you'll notice the one problem is that there is a shadow right here under the paperclip on top of the pink paper. And remember, we're trying to make the effect that this part of the paperclip is tucking behind the paper, so it would not be casting a shadow on top of it. So the way that I do that is I simplify the layer, right-clicking in the layers palette and clicking simplify layer, and that makes the shadow actually part of the layer instead of an effect on the layer. And so now I have the marching ants still here. I can go ahead and I can erase just that little bit of shadow that was going over the pink paper. So now when I go select, deselect to get rid of the marching ants, you can see that it looks like it's tucked behind. Now one more trick to make it look even more realistic is to use your dodge and burn tools. In Photoshop Elements, that's right here. Dodge tools make things lighter and look like they are raised up, and burn tools make them darker and look like they are falling back into the background. So we're going to start by using the dodge tool and holding down the command or control key again, I can turn it to this little arrow which lets me select this pink piece of paper. You'll notice in the layers palette that that layer was selected. And I'm just going to, again, you'll want to make the size so that it's about the same size as the paperclip. And you can play around. It really depends on the paper, whether highlights, midtones, or shadows will work best. So try one, and if you don't like the look of it, undo it and try another one. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take this and I'm just going to draw a line where that paper clip would be under the pink paper, and you see that it makes it look like it's raised up a little bit. Holding down the Control or Command key, I'm going to select the next paper and just do the same thing. And then I'm going to go to the Burn tool, and again, work with my size. I can do a little bit on the edges of these if I want. But the main thing I want to do is I want to click on the paperclip layer here and do a little bit of a burn right on the edge to make it look like there's a little bit of a shadow over that part of the paperclip. And then I also want to do it right on the photo to make it look like it's sort of bending down under the paperclip. And there you have it. I now have the paperclip clipping a section of my papers together.